Hey, what's going on, guys? Are you a first-time home buyer, or are you already a homeowner looking to downsize or maybe move into a bigger home? One thing that I know is certain that, things can be forgotten as far as the steps, and things are always changing as far as the real estate industry, right? So today I'm going to go over the steps from getting your pre-approval all the way up to closing. And also we're going to get into, brand new construction timelines on resale timelines. So that way you can be prepared when you're buying your first home. So stay tuned. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Come listen, come bind. My name is Kuya Oscar, your go-to real estate agent here in the greater Phoenix area. Hey, if you are brand new to my channel, I go around all of the brand new communities here in Arizona, and I tour model homes as well as move-in ready homes. So if you're in the market for brand new construction homes, definitely hit that like, subscribe, and notification button so you can stay up to date with all the new communities here in Arizona. And if you're planning to move here, I would absolutely love to be a part of your journey. Okay, guys, so today we are going to go over the steps when purchasing a new home. So if you're a first-time home buyer, definitely make sure you have a pen and paper in hand so you can write down some of these key notes so that you are prepared, okay? So let's go ahead and start with the very first step, okay? And that is pretty much sitting down with your spouse or yourself and talking about what is your budget, okay? What is your budget and what location are you looking into, okay? So that is number one. And I say that because you definitely don't want to move into a home and be broke, right? So although you are max approved at something at X amount of dollars, you definitely don't want to tell yourself, oh, hey, yeah, I can make that payment. It's going to be tight, but I can make it. You definitely want to make sure that you budget accordingly with all of your other expenses that you have, whether it be your car payments or anything like that. So that is a huge step when you are purchasing a home. Okay, guys, so the very next step, and this goes hand in hand with each other, is finding a lender, right? And also a real estate agent. And I'll tell you exactly why. Because when you're choosing a lender, you definitely want to make sure that, one, they have really great communication, right? And they meet those deadlines, and they also meet the deadlines within this contract, okay? So in most cases, in some of my experience, some of my buyers already came to me with already a pre-approval with a bank that they're already financed with, or they have, business with already. That's really great because they've already built that relationship with that bank, right? And that is huge because this is the biggest purchase of your life. You definitely want to make sure that you go with somebody who you trust, right? And so when you meet your real estate agent, actually, in most cases, that real estate agent has already built a relationship with numerous great lenders, okay, guys? So they already made sure that these lenders who they are referring to you, they have great communication, so they answer all of your questions, so that you're never left in the dark, okay? They always meet the deadline so that nothing is at risk, such as your earnest money or fees that may be responsible to you if you don't meet certain deadlines, okay? So choosing a lender and realtor goes hand in hand. So let's talk about finding your real estate agent. So your real estate agent is going to be your go-to from point A to B, okay? From when you close from when you look for a home until you close, okay, guys? This is the person who, is pretty much goes up to bat for you, right? They're going to make sure that your earnest money is protected, all the timelines are met, and that you understand every part of the process when you're purchasing a home. And that is, whether it be your close friend, whether it be, a family member, whether it be someone that you find on social media, you just want to make sure that you really connect with this person, because this whole process, guys, should be fun, right? Should be fun. If you're a first-time home buyer, this whole process is exciting. You're probably very excited. This is your first home, you and your family, or if you are looking for a different home to invest in, it's very exciting, this whole process, okay? Finding a real estate agent is definitely big, and I would absolutely love to help you out if you are here in Arizona, okay, guys? When you guys are talking about budget, when you guys are talking about also the areas that you're looking for, what's important to you as a buyer, and your real estate agent is looking for different houses for you that meets all of your needs, then the fun part happens and we go out and we look for houses, okay, guys? So, and this is not a race too, okay? So keep that in mind. This is not a race to where if you see a house for the first time, you're gonna put an offer on. Now, don't get me wrong. There are cases that has happened. There are some transactions that has happened where you might go on your first tour and you absolutely fall in love with that house. And that is actually quite common than not, guys. But I just want to make sure that don't ever feel rushed, okay? If you find the right house on the first tour, amazing. Let's get the ball running. Okay, so let's go ahead and keep moving. So let's say you do find a house and you want to put an offer in, okay? So your realtor, yourself will discuss about the terms of the contract. Okay, let's say you go mutual. Okay, yes, we went mutual. Amazing, exciting. Okay, so now what is expected after you go mutual? One is the earnest money. So the earnest money is like a security deposit. It goes back to you at the end of the transaction, whether it be for your closing costs, down payment, it just goes back to you. The earnest money, and it should be stated on the contract, is usually due within a day or two after mutual acceptance. So if you go mutual on Monday, okay, that's day one. And so your earnest money is due on Tuesday. So earnest money. Now, why is earnest money important? Okay, guys. Well, one, it shows that when you're putting in an offer, it shows how pretty much how serious you are essentially into purchasing this home. Okay, now there's no set rule with the earnest money on how much you need to put down. New construction home, okay, you want to write this down. In new construction home, there's usually set earnest monies for different builders. Okay, so in some, it could be $2,000, $3,000, or it could be as high as $20,000 earnest money. Okay, if you're going for a resale home, all right, that is up to your discretion, and your realtor could guide you on that as well. If you're putting more interest rate, if you're putting more earnest money down, guys, again, that just goes back to you. There are contingencies in place for you to protect your earnest money. We'll get into that later in this video, but your earnest money is the next step. So the next, after the earnest money, okay, let's say you're gonna do an inspection, all right? So an inspection, you do have a certain amount of days after mutual acceptance to complete this inspection, okay? And with the inspection, that is due up front, okay? So it's not something that you pay at closing, you pay at the time of service. Now, you could look for inspector yourself, or your realtor has already worked with different inspectors who they know do a good job, and they could refer you to that inspector, okay? And depending on how big the square footage is and what services you want the inspector to do, like a sewer scope, for instance, those are additional charges. And depending on how big the house is, that could determine also on how much you pay for your inspection, okay? Okay, guys, so with the inspection, for brand new construction homes, there's actually a step called the brand new construction new home orientation walkthrough. This new home orientation walkthrough / blue tape walkthrough, okay? When you do your inspection, do it before that event happens, okay? And here's why. The new home orientation walkthrough and blue tape walkthrough, you're literally walking around building management. They're going to talk to you about like how things work. So here's your appliances, here's the AC, here's your electrical pen, here's the breakers. They're just going to kind of show you around. Right, the thermostat, all that good stuff, all right? Hand in hand, you'll be doing the blue tape walkthrough. So you're literally gonna take some blue tape and put it on any kind of discrepancy you find in the house, right? So it could be as little as, oh, this place or this wall needs more paint, right? It could be this baseboard needs more caulking, the toilet, the faucet's not working, the garbage disposal is not working, right? So you're gonna put blue tape around, those little things, and the builder is going to fix that before the final home orientation walkthrough. So when you do your inspection before that, you could take that list, present it to the builder, and hopefully they correct it before that final home orientation walkthrough. Now, why is that important? Is because the inspector, they're going to walk around making sure that there is power to all the outlets, okay? Making sure that the kitchen has GFCI, that the GFCI outlets are working. Okay, they're going to be making sure that they go into the attic, making sure that the attic is insulated properly and the attic looks good. Taking a drone, flying it over the roof, making sure there's no cracked tiles. Okay, guys, making sure that the water pressure is also good. So there's things that the inspector inspector's job is to make sure that they find out those discrepancies that we're not looking for when we're doing the blue tape walkthrough. Okay, guys, because we're just like looking around, oh, honey, there's a paint chip. You know what I'm saying? Let's put a blue tape up there. So there's things that we just don't see or necessarily know that the inspector will find out, and then we can have those corrected. Okay, guys, so that is huge. The next thing that's going to come up also is the appraisal. Okay, so the appraisal is next, and that is also due at the time of service, and that usually ranges at like $800. So the appraiser, what they're going to do, they're going to come to the house, make sure that you are purchasing the home at the value that you're buying it. Okay, if the value comes in less and you didn't waive the appraisal, now that is terms of negotiation with the seller. Or if it appraises more than what you are purchasing it for, well, great, you have instant equity. Okay, so that's really cool. Now, I just want to kind of take a step back on the inspection. On the inspection, you can also ping additional days. Also, just in case if, let's say, something comes up and you need an expertise to come out. So let's say on the inspection, HVAC came up and the inspector recommended a professional HVAC company to come out and determine the HVAC. You can actually request more days, okay, for an HVAC person to come out and make sure you service that. Now let's talk about the 5 capital expenditures here. Okay, the 5 capital expenditures are the HVAC, it's the roof, it is the electrical, the plumbing, and also the foundation. So if something is major within those things, you could definitely request more person who is an expertise in that field. And depending on the scope, your earnest money, you could back out if you're not comfortable, and that's where your earnest money is refunded back to you. Okay, so I talked about those contingencies. All right, so one of the contingencies is the inspection. So if you don't like something on the inspection report, you can back out, your earnest money is protected. But those are the 5 capital expenditures, and with a quote from the expertise, right, or that person, you can use that as leverage to say like, hey, Mr. or Mrs. Seller, this is what they had said. I would like to reflect this on, whatever, or ask for money back. Whatever you and the realtor discuss, however you want to proceed with, that. At least you have a quote, something tangible to present, right? So you're not just going off of word of mouth. All right, now with new construction, it's a little bit different because they would actually perform the work and correct that before closing. Okay, now if it's something just ridiculous, like the foundation is absolutely shot, you could actually back out from that because that is like major, right? That is back in the inspection. We just talked about the appraisal. Okay, so after the appraisal, fast forward, like, you get your home insurance also. So, during this whole step 2, you have to make sure that you also get home insurance because the lender's not going to lend you if you don't have home insurance. Now, what is home insurance? Home insurance, let's say if a fire happens, a flood happens, something god awful happens to the home, you have home insurance to protect the house. Okay, guys, so I have home insurance. It's definitely something that you need to make sure that you have for the life of the loan. Okay, even after the loan, make sure you have home insurance. Okay, guys, that is another thing. Shop around for home insurance. Okay, that will also reflect on your monthly mortgage. Okay, and then after that, it's pretty much smooth sailing. All right, there's a little bit here and there, scheduling appointments, making sure that, you turn in all the documents. Okay, so another step 2 is the underwriter. Once you get like this approval from the lender, they send all this stuff up to the underwriter, this third person, and they're looking over your file to make sure that everything is as it's saying, as you are who you say you are, and that you are in fact more than capable in purchasing this home, okay, and can afford this home. Now, some things can come up with the underwriter, very small things, okay, and your lender will do their job and make sure that you get those documents, whatever it is, turned in so that they can resubmit it to underwriter and that the underwriter will issue the final approval. Okay, once you get the final approval, everything is pretty much done and said. So let's talk about the final home orientation walkthrough for brand new construction homes. Okay, so even with resale homes, there's a step right before closing. Okay, it's usually done within a week of closing, called the final home walkthrough, which you will then go inside the house. All right, and you make sure that, you know, let's say the seller's, it is how the house was when you first looked at it. Okay, that there's nothing out of the ordinary, there's no leaks, there's no nothing, there's no cracks in the walls, and that's the final home walkthrough. Okay, for new construction, there's that final home orientation walkthrough where you essentially just do the exact same thing. The property manager, the building manager will walk around and say like, hey, this is what we did. Okay, here's the list that you presented to us, and this is what we did. Here's how we corrected it, and so everything is good to go. And then you have to sign some stuff off. So that is another step right before closing. Now you're just waiting to get the keys. If everything goes smoothly, guys, the whole process takes between 30 to 45 days. It could be less. Now there is something called underwritten approved. All right, to where, you know, you are definitely stronger. Let's say if you're in a multiple offer situation and you are underwritten approved and everybody else is just approved, well, that underwriter has already scanned all the documents and said like, hey, this guy is solid, you know, but he's already approved. You know what I mean? A step higher than the approval. The interest rates are dropping. I'm sure that you are hearing that interest rates are dropping. What happened during the pandemic when interest rates dropped? Now, are they going to be 3% again? Probably not. But are they going to be, you know, better than 8%, 7%? They are now, right? They're like at a 6.4, something around that national average, okay? And when they do drop, and from word of mouth, you know, hearing from lenders and real estate gurus, I'm hearing that they will drop again. It's just going to open up a whole buying frenzy, okay? Now, you're going to go up against multiple offer situation, and you're going to go into this bidding war, and, you know, you're going to have to waive a couple of things. That's exactly what happened during the pandemic, okay? People are going $100,000, $200,000 waiving everything. You know, it was wild, okay? So if you have the ability to purchase now and you're waiting for interest rates to drop or waiting for, you know, how many times or how many years have you been saying, I'm waiting for the market to crash? Or if you're one of those who's waiting for the interest rates to drop, literally ask yourself what happened during the pandemic, okay, guys? So instead of waiting, those people who bought beforehand and the pandemic happens, their equity just shot up like crazy, right? So if the interest rates drop and you purchase now, you could just refinance, right, into a better interest rate. Now you have the home that you had, that you love, okay? You didn't have to go through a bidding war. You were still able to do your inspection, okay? And then you could just refinance and get that same interest rate, but you have a house, right? That's the whole thing there. So with that being said, I hope this was informative. Now, you know, if you have any questions, your realtor definitely, or myself would love to answer any of your questions and help you guide along the process, okay? But at least you know. So let's go over that. One is talking it over with your spouse, okay? Making sure that you identify the location, making sure that you identify the budget and you stay around that budget, okay? Maybe you're gonna have a little bit plus or minus, but you know, stay within that budget. Two is finding a lender and a real estate agent. If you don't have a lender, your real estate agent will provide you with, you know, a great lender who they trust, okay? Next is sitting down with your real estate agent, going over your list that you and your husband created, or you and your wife created, or just you created, and you talk about what's important to you and, you know, all that stuff, okay? It's called a buyer consultation. The next is looking at homes, okay? So now you're looking at homes. The next step after that is going into mutual acceptance, okay? So going into mutual acceptance, 2 days after that, 1 day or 2 days after that, earnest money. Then you have your inspection. Then you have your appraisal. Okay, during the whole process too, you're also going through the underwriting process. Okay, so making sure that everything is turned into the lender and that the underwriter gives you that initial approval. Getting home insurance and just making sure that the lender has everything they need to close on the loan, okay? You will then schedule an appointment to sign the documents with the escrow agent, okay? And then you will close on the home, okay? Now, one thing that I just said that I didn't point out is also the escrow. Okay, so who is escrow? Escrow is this third party, so First American Title Chicago title. They hold the earnest money and they will disperse the funds at the end. Okay, guys, they do more than that, but that's pretty much who they are. So the realtor is involved. You obviously, the buyer or seller is involved. Okay, the lender is involved. Title and escrow is involved. Appraiser and also the inspector is involved. Okay, so there's a lot of people who is involved in this specific transaction when you're purchasing a home. Okay, guys, so I hope you wrote down some great key information, some of these steps, so that way you are fully aware when you are doing, when you are purchasing a home. Okay, if you have any other questions, please feel free to leave a comment below or reach out to me. I would absolutely love to help you out or answer any questions that you may have. Okay, guys, but with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you are looking here in Arizona, again, hit that like and subscribe and notification. Check out some of the home tours that I did here in Arizona. I go all around in the East Valley and the West Valley side. And I'll catch you on the next video, guys. All right, see ya.